What do you think about, because the brother got a powerful lecture coming up and is entitled, How to Share Their Man. Do you think it's possible for a man to teach a woman how to share their man?
I mean, he can educate, he can give us knowledge, of how he feels in his perspective. I don't know how the sisters are going to take that, but, it's 2015, so it's a lot going on. That's all I can say.
Will you share your man?
Absolutely not.
Let's say if the brother says he has another woman, would you leave him?
Absolutely.
I'm not sharing my man with no other woman, and if I have to share him with another woman, then he ain't really a man, because a real man respects a woman and knows that he doesn't have to split his time and divide his time with somebody else. He's telling me I'm not good enough if he has to do that, and that has happened to me in the past, and that's why it's in the past.
Why?
Because I'm not crazy and I'm not sharing my man with anybody. That's crazy.
Wait 1 second. So if you ever was in that position, it would be difficult?
It's over. There is nothing to proceed with. It's dead.
So you believe that he couldn't be with you and be with another woman and you still feel love?
I mean, I probably could feel love, but I would never do that. I can't share him. I have to have him by myself. That's it.
I just want to ask you a quick question, right? We're doing a lecture on women on October 4th. The question that I have is, are you now or have you ever been in a position where you had to share your man with another woman?
Yes.
Was it difficult for you to do?
Actually, it's a choice I made. So, yeah.
Anthem on the track.
Anthem on the track. Peace and Black Power, family. You already know what it is. This your brother Son Nutter coming black at you once again from Son Nutter Studios, Son Nutter TV, Black News 102, and the House of Consciousness. Captain Tazaryach, I think it's in over his head. Man, you messing with the sisters. You know what I'm saying? You better really have a powerful lecture. You better know what to come with, because the sisters are not no joke, brother. Hey, sisters, I encourage you all to go out there to let the brother know how you feel. I think my brother Captain Tazaryach maybe have bit off more than he could chew on this one. Will, the black woman, he's going to be teaching black women how to share their man. What? That right there in itself is going to get ugly. It's powerful, family. How to share your man. A man is going to teach a woman how to share your man. Wow. That right there is controversy in itself. Be on your P's and Q's, Captain Tazaryach. So before I bring on Captain Tazaryach, I want to first let y'all know that this is Anthem on the Track. The lecture begins October the 4th, 7 o'clock sharp. Have your asses in the building.
So he's going to be teaching the sisters how to share their man. Do you think it's possible for a man to teach a woman how to share their man?
I mean, he can educate, he can give us knowledge, of how he feels in his perspective. I don't know how the sisters are going to take that, but, it's 2015, so it's a lot going on. That's all I can say.
Let me ask you, would you share your man?
Personally, like I told the brother, I wouldn't, but it really depends on circumstances. When you say sharing, that can go with a lot. That can, a lot can be attached to that. A lot of times it's not that you want to share your man, but a lot of men have more babies, mothers than one. So in a sense, you have to share that in that way, in that perspective. So it could be something about that, but in terms of in a personal relationship, within a personal, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Well, we're going to hear from our captain right here to see what he mean by that. And give us a couple of minutes. So, my brother, Captain Tazaryach, when you ask the sisters, will you share your man, what do you mean by sharing? Give us some information on that, my brother.
Of course, as always, I'm Captain Tazaryach of ISGBK under Commander Jenny Hanna. Give all praises to the Most High in Christ. The title of the lecture that we're doing is called How to Share Your Man. And the reason why we have that particular title is because whether women and men want to face it or not, men have more than one woman already. You know what I mean? Now, here's the problem. The problem is that in America, you're taught or forced that only a man can only have one woman. That's a Roman doctrine. That's not a doctrine that's even confined to just Israelite culture. You got African culture that believe that a man could have more than one woman. You have Arabic culture, right? You have Arabic culture. It's only when the so-called white man came along that he created monogamy. Or you ever heard the term holy matrimony? You ever heard that term before? Holy matrimony is really just a contract between a man and a woman that is authorized by the government or the so-called white man. So if you get another woman that you want to get in holy matrimony with, what do you have to do according to the government that you're under? You have to break the contract with the first woman, where the Bible don't teach that. The Bible teaches, says Exodus 21:10, if you get another wife, her duty and raiment shall not diminish. Meaning just because you decide to get another woman, you don't have to get rid of your first woman. That's nowhere in life. That's nowhere out there. Now, because we live in a society where you can only have one man, one woman, you know what men do? Go get whores. You know why? Because I can hide that I really want another woman, but because I'm taught that we can't, now I have to hide it. So here comes a prostitute or something. And of course, by no means am I justifying it, but it does take place. Now, and by no means am I encouraging men to go out and sleep and be with a bunch of women, because there's responsibility that comes with that. So if a man takes on one woman, there's a responsibility that comes with that. You have to give that woman guidance. You have to give her leadership. You have to give her courage. You defend her. There's a balance that's created between the two of you, financially, physically, spiritually, or whatever. So now, if you take on that one woman and you decide to get another woman, your responsibilities to the first one don't go away. Not a Ford, because a Ford is something that America made up too. This is what America made. America believes that the head of the household is whoever makes the most money. That's chaos. That's not what makes the head of the household. The Lord said the head of every man is Christ, the head of the woman is the man. So the man is in charge whether he makes $5 an hour or $1,000 an hour. Whether the woman makes all the money and the man does not, that does not dictate who's in charge in the house, because then what does that do? That brings about a competition between that man and that woman in the house, to where they battling not to get a better job so that they could better each other. They're battling so that they could be the boss over the other. So then they be in a competition, and then they're arguing, and then the woman is like, you a no good man because you ain't got this type of job, or the man is like, you ain't shit because you ain't got that type of job. When your bond, your relationship is never going to succeed or fail based on money. Just look at entertainers. Entertainers go through 3 and 4 marriages with different women. It ain't got nothing to do with money because they got money. And then you got poor families that can be together. Y'all, we from the old school, right? So from the old school, our grandparents be together 30 and 40 years, whether they had money or didn't have money. So money does not make a marriage work or fail.
Let me say this, brother. I think your opening comes off a little negative. When you say to a woman how to share your man, that automatically puts up a defense. And the black woman say, share my man. I think it will be proper if you was to say, hold up. I think it would be more proper if you was to say, how to deal with a polygamous relationship, or what is a polygamous relationship. Because when you say how to share your man, the sisters automatically like, what? I'm not sharing my man. Hey, yo, Red Pill, excuse me. Where's she at, Jabari? Come here, Queen. Let me ask this sister over here by,
Excuse me. We have 2 men.
oh, but we'll get to that, because then, hold on. Come on, sister. Excuse me for one. Is it all right if I get right here?
Yeah, that's fine. You can slide over a little bit. They're gonna bring it.
Let me ask the sister right here, right quick. Stand right next to the captain. The brother have something coming up, a program coming up, and it's called How to Share Your Man. When you hear that, what goes through your mind? First, I'm going to ask you, will you share your man? And then you can ask the brother some questions.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because I feel like one woman should be with one man and one man should be with one woman.
Well, have you ever heard of polygyny or polygamy?
Yes, I have.
What about polygamy? Are you willing to, work with the realms of polygamy?
No.
Okay. Well, ask the brother some questions. Ask him
So, why are you doing this show? Because I'm a very selfish person. I will not.
That is the root.
I will not do it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You would like the mic?
No, whenever you finish.
I'm a very selfish person. I'm like a Scorpio. I feel that, if you're not going to be committed into something, don't put yourself in it at all. That causes a lot of problems. Like divorce is like more popular than marriage is because of, infidelity and, people sharing, and I don't agree with that. I mean, I'm young, but I still wouldn't want to share my man because that'll cause a problem, a big problem.
I can answer now. The most important thing she said was that she's selfish. Black women are selfish about everything. Whether if they go get a dress in a store, now they can have 25 to 50 of those dresses in the store, and if now I'm just going to use you as an example. If the sister buys that dress and this sister buys that same dress, they hate each other over the dress because they're selfish. That's what black women are, period.
They want to have the only
Right, because they think that dress that they bought is only for them, and how dare this other one come in and do it. So when you say you're selfish, you're correct. But black women have to learn to lose that selfishness. If you look at the statistics, there are over 3 million more black women than there are men, period. It's about time for women to learn how to not be selfish and share your man. Because now y'all look at it like just from a sexual standpoint or something like that. But men don't always choose other women just for sexual pleasure. There could be things that you can't do that this other women can do. And then y'all become a part of the team, so to speak. And it sounds cold to say it like that, right? But it's the truth. It is the truth. It is the truth nonetheless. That's what I was going to get into. That was going to get to next. What, if you don't mind me ask you, what is your spirituality or what is your culture that you follow?
Nothing.
So you don't follow anything. But I noticed you mentioned like divorce and marriage and so forth. So then you live under the guise of the so-called white man.
Yes.
Okay, but so my question would be what is marriage? Is marriage when you get a piece of paper from the white man saying you're married?
You don't need a notarized letter from the white man or a ring to prove that you're devoted to someone. But if you are devoted, I don't require that. But you don't have to stand in front of a church and 500 family and friends to prove that you want to be a part of a union with somebody.
So what would define marriage for you then?
Loyalty, commitment, honesty, compromise. Good times, bad times, knowing the person's flaws, background, pretty much that, love, real love, Now,
the most important part that's missing out of that is what actually makes marriage. Because in our culture, of course, everybody knows I'm an Israelite. And according to the Bible, sex is what consummates marriage. That's what consummates. When you lay down with a man or a woman, you are giving the greatest thing that you can give to anybody is yourself, whether you're male or female. So when you lay down with that man or lay down with that woman, that's what marriage is. So it's not the certificate that you get from the so-called white man. It's damn near like saying my bond with my woman or man is not justified unless the white man okays it or approves it. And the problem when you give the government or when you give the white man that type of power over you, what then comes is that woman can divorce you and you have no power to tell her she can. You understand? Because once you give yourself to the so-called white man in that perspective, you're giving over everything. So then divorce can happen, alimony can happen, child support, all of that comes once you subject yourself under his rule. One second. So here's the problem. Black people are the most social people on the face of the planet. Don't nobody party like us or do anything like us. Nobody's having sex like us either. But we want to have that sex without no rules. So when we say how to share your man, every man is having sex with more than one woman already. You're already shared. The only difference with us is that we have the heart to tell you, if you be with me, I am a man that if I choose to get another woman, I'll get her. That don't mean that you're any less of a woman to me. You might want to. You might. Good night. She want her mommy bad as hell. So, but that don't mean, like, a man getting another woman doesn't mean that the first woman is any less. And that's usually where women go with it. The first thing a woman thinks when a man gets another woman is that there's something wrong with me first, then there's something wrong with him, and then I gotta hate her. But why are you hating her when y'all have the common denominator, which is the man? If you love that man and she loves that man, why couldn't y'all come together for that? That's the question. And then your other question was, how come a woman cannot have more than one. That was the other lady's question. She wanted to know how come a woman can't have. A door only has one key. You're only supposed to be penetrated by one rod, so to speak. And I'm gonna give you the proof behind it. When you have a baby, when you have multiple men going inside of you, you can look up the statistics and it shows how it bothers you psychologically. When that semen goes inside of you from multiple men, them babies that come out of there can carry characteristic traits from men that you slept with before. And then they be looking at them, and then you be looking at this son like it ain't yours, but biologically it's yours, but it's carrying traits from another man. So that's, a woman was never meant to be penetrated by multiple men. That's why.
I totally agree. But my thing
aspects of it.
Right. See, it's easy to say, okay, you should be able to do this and you should be able to do that. And why not several different women get together and share this one man? But that doesn't change the fact that we still have emotions. Right. And even though we would have to keep it hidden or covered up and act like it's okay, when we're going to be jealous because that's a part of our human nature. And I want to know, how are we supposed to deal with that?
Okay, jealousy is something that you're right, you have to fight. That's why I brought up the whole dress scenario, to show you that a woman's jealousy ain't confined with a man, it's confined with everything between women. So women have to fight. The first thing they have to fight is their own insecurities. That's the first thing you have to fight. It's not asking, to be honest, I went to the Bronx earlier today, right? I was in Harlem like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I'm in Harlem today. And then I'm asking the sisters question, like how I came and asked you that question, right? So now from your side, you said that you wouldn't do it, but it depends on the situation. But when you watch the videos that we have sisters that don't disagree with it. And they also say the same thing, that women have to let their insecurities go, they have to let their jealousies go. And that's what y'all have to fight. If your man loves, let me ask you a question, let me ask you a scenario. If your man loves you, right, and you know your man loves you, and the only thing that he has is another woman, how does that mean he don't love you? I'm just asking you a question. How does that mean that he don't love you? Wait, let me get the question out. How does that mean that he does not love you just because he has another woman? I want to add another part on it. And if he can have that woman and love her and love you, why bring an argument that will not exist unless you start the argument?
Because realistically, if this was a perfect world or a different type of world, I could see that. But this is the world we're living in right now. If my man loves me, I want my man to love me only as a woman. I don't want to share my man. I mean, I would feel like I have to share that love. You don't understand. See, it's different for a man and a woman. We're just too different. We're two different sexes. We're too different. We're very emotional. We're not going to look at it from the perspective that you are. Intimacy is far more deeper, I think, with women than it is men. Right. We're going to take that whole thing to a whole nother level. I don't want to be with my man, making love to my man, and then turn around and know that this other sister's doing the same thing. That's not going to sit right with me.
That's your question, sister. Do you see her as your sister? Of course. What about the other sisters that's walking around here? You see them as your sister?
All black women are my sisters.
Okay.
Right.
To her, our sister, let's say her man gets locked up, go into prison for life, or accidentally get killed or murdered. Now she have a child that need to be raised up. Are you telling me that you wouldn't allow your man to take on that responsibility to help raise that child? Or are you going to be so selfish to say she's on her damn own? I don't care about her. Because, hold up, you just said that's your sister. So there's a lot of women out here like that. That they man is locked up in jail, you know, and I'm gonna tell you something. Another thing is, a lot of men have to sneak and go and be with that woman anyway. Wouldn't you want to know who my man is with? So come on, sister, think about that.
Let me answer you. Listen, as deep as that sounds, brother, as beautiful. As deep as that sounds and as beautiful as that is, I'm not going to allow you to tell me that I would be selfish with this sister or any other sister in that situation. This is how I would handle that, me personally. Sister, I'm going to help you find you a good man of your own that's going to help you take care of your child. No, that's how I'm going to be real. It's not going to be mine, but I will help you. It might sound selfish, but I'm keeping it real, because why bring that kind of drama in where if I do that, then I start to despise her or she me? These children are going to pick up that energy from their mamas. we're not living in that kind of a world. You're asking us to revert that. You have to be. Wait, brother. Let me just do this 1 minute. You have to raise us up as little girls to be that. You can't wait and expect us to do that now. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, now you got a point. Now you got a point there as far as being raised up, but you can't say that you can't do that, because I have. Okay.
You probably doing it already and don't know.
Right. And because let me add. But wouldn't it be better if you knew than for him to hide it?
No.
Yes, it would.
No.
Thank you. You would rather be what?
Slap with the truth and kiss with the lie. But I am not sharing my man.
But I'm gonna tell y'all something. You got a man right now? You got a man? Did you say you about to say you got a couple?
I have a husband.
Oh, okay. No sweat. I'm sorry. My bad. Wait, let me finish the first part that you said, because she said the whole raising up of the kids, and you have to be raised up that way. Me myself, I have 4. I have 4 wives. No, 4 wives. So now,
Oh, you have 4 wives.
it's a call. Take this call. That's General Haas. Salaki. Sorry about that. So I have 4, right? Now, one of them was one of them I was with was not brought up, like we didn't get together knowing that you could have more than one woman. The other 3 were. So it is an adjustment, but it ain't something that cannot be, because right now that same woman takes care of my kids by my other women. You understand? You know what she learned how to do? Lose her insecurity, lose her selfishness, and lose being jealous. So it's not like it cannot be done, and that's way better than me saying, oh, I was out with the fellas last night. I was playing ball. What you be saying, Sinetta?
I was out playing
You know what I mean? Now that's way better, and I'm gonna tell you what that alleviates. It alleviates you wasn't out playing chess, you wasn't out with the fellas, you was at such and such house, you was at such and such crib, as opposed to just knowing where I'm at, because then what you have is a common goal. That's my husband, I love him. And here's what else I'll tell you. The relationship that you have is not with everybody. Meaning it's not with the other women, and women waste more. What you'll end up doing is wasting more time wondering what he's doing with the other women as opposed to what he should be doing with you. Is it super important, or you good? All right. You'll be wasting time with that as opposed to just having that relationship, and what'll happen is you're arguing with him about the other women. Now, if the other women ain't arguing with him about you, you know what he's doing? Spending less time with you and more time with them. That's why this subject that we're teaching is important. It's not to... Again, this subject that I'm teaching is not to encourage men that you have to go out and get any woman, because that's not what the Bible says. The Bible don't say you have to have 1 wife, 10 wives, or 15. The only thing the Bible says is that whatever woman you get cannot already belong to a man. And the reason why we have to teach the subject of a man being allowed to have more than one, because it's being forced on men that you can only have one. You should not force that on a man. I got free. I said this before in the interview that I did. I've been doing this about 7 years, right? And before I came into the truth, I was just like everybody else, as a man that thought that you could only have one woman, right? So you be forced on that. When I found out that a man could have more than one woman, it didn't make me want to go and start sleeping with random women, because I knew the responsibility of it. Meaning, when you lay with that woman, you have to be with her for the rest of your life. You can't throw that woman away. So I didn't get a second wife until 2 years into the truth, so to speak. You know, because I understood the responsibility of it. Because
Hold up, let us say that again.
Why did you have to have a second wife? Why is not one, in your belief, in your culture, why is one not enough? Is it because you feel it's systematic? Is it from the white man's perspective? Is that why you wanted to rebel against that? Or is that something that you just wanted to do as your own man?
No, well, it's not a culture for a man to have more than one wife in this regard. What I mean by that is, it's not something where when you come into our organization, we like, how many wives you got? You only got 1? Or you got to get 2? Or you got to get 3? That's not the culture. But for me personally, I didn't even choose my second one. She actually approached me. You understand? And when she approached me about it, I just said, okay, we can go ahead and decide, you know, where this relationship is going to go. So it happened like that. Then there's another one I got where I approach. It's not like, okay, I see beautiful women all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you can be an attractive woman. I know you're married. I'm just using you as an example. Now, just because I see you as an attractive woman don't make me say, well, I want to get with her. I'm not that lust-filled, because there's a responsibility level. And that's what we teach the brothers, too. It's not like we going to tell the brothers, man, you can have 10 wives. Just go get them. No, we're going to say before you even get one wife, understand the responsibility that comes with it. And that part will be brought out in the lecture too. Like, this ain't going to be a chauvinistic type of lecture that we're doing. I'm going to show the woman's side and the man's side. You understand? So just so everybody can understand, this ain't you going to come to the lecture and it's going to be like Tazaryach said, we just got to shut our mouth, let the man have 10 wives and that's it. No, I'm going to show both sides and leave it like that.
The brothers have a question over here.
I got a question.
Okay.
Now, when we do a man having more than one wife, no, I don't have a problem with that, but we need to get to responsibility because, I mean, you have to be able to afford that second wife or that third wife. I mean, you have to buy. I mean, if you have your own crib or you have your own house, you gotta buy her another crib or another house. So it's a lot of responsibility. How many men really can afford to do that? I mean, they're sneaking around doing it, but how many can really afford to take care of a second wife or third wife or fourth wife?
That's a good question. And yeah, I did that yesterday on the radio show too. What makes it, Thursday. What makes that a good question? It's a good question that needs to be people need to be educated on. When you get with a one woman and you take on another woman, depending on the situation, you will provide for her. Here's the situation. Let's say if that woman is making, let's say, $70,000 a year, right? She has a house or whatever like that. She has an interest in you, you have an interest in her, right? Why are you now going to be forced to now provide something for her that she already has? You understand? Thank you. In that scenario, really what it is when you get with your husband, your decisions ain't based on I'm gonna force you to do it because you're the man. I'm gonna force you to do it because you're the woman. It's gonna be what is the best case scenario where we can be at peace in our household. So if the woman makes more money, why put pressure on the man to now be in competition with her so that he can make a decision when she can pay a bill? If she's in that position financially. Now, if the man is in a position financially, by all means, he should do it. But it's not about putting pressure on a relationship. It's about easing pressure on a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what people got to understand. Money has nothing to do with the relation. Excuse me. A man having to make all the money is not what's going to make a relationship work. Nor is making the woman make all the money going to make a relationship work. If the woman is in a better position financially, she should be willing to do for her man. Just like if the man is in a position financially, he should be willing to do for her woman. That's how it should be, to answer your question.
I want to add on to what he was saying, but I just want to add on. What about in these modern day, like the modern day economy that we see where there's a rise in entrepreneurship? Like a lot of people are either doing multiple income streams or they're just leaving the plantation altogether. So in your mind, do you feel that a relationship, a polygamous relationship with, let's say, 2 wives or 3 wives, if they were to start a family business and forsake going to work for Europeans, you know, because most of the time those are the people that we work for, and they just say, you know what, we're going to do internet marketing, or we're going to create a travel agency, or we're going to create a clothing line, you know, something that everyone can agree with, and they put their strengths together and create a company. Do you think that would be viable? I want to ask you that. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Sis, I'm doing a lecture October 4th, and it's on women, and the subject matter is what we're asking sisters about. So the question I want to ask you is that have you ever been, or are you currently in a position where you had to share your man with another woman?
I'm not sharing my man with no other woman, and if I have to share him with another woman, then he ain't really a man, because a real man respects a woman and knows that he doesn't have to split his time and divide his time with somebody else. He's telling me I'm not good enough if he has to do that, and that has happened to me in the past, and that's why it's in the past.
Wait 1 second. So if you ever was in that position, it would be difficult?
It's over. There is nothing to proceed with. It's dead.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, they ain't going for that, man. All right, Brother Red, where you at? Here you go, bro.
This is somebody wants to ask.
Oh, yeah, my man right here. Let me get him, and then I'm going to come to you.
Yeah, no, sir.
Just got a quick question. Do you think that that science of polygamy deals with equality with man and woman? Meaning as, what if the woman wants to get married to another man?
Well, there's no equality nowhere in the Bible between man and woman. Sorry, even between man and man. You know what I mean? Like my brothers here, the four of us here in the same organization, we're not equal to each other. There's always going to be rank and structure and order. If you don't have rank, structure, and order, if the four of us are equal, who tells each other what to do? Just among men. So when it comes among women, women are not equal to men. Men are over the women. As far as a woman is not meant to be penetrated by more than one man. Even if you want to use the so-called white man science, it proved, I just brought this out earlier, how the different semens in that woman affects the child that is eventually born. Different men going in her affects her mentally as well. So a woman was not made to be penetrated by more than one man, and there's no equality nowhere. Like me and you, like you could be stronger than me. I'm not the same strength as you, so we're not equal in strength. Let's say if you were stronger mentally than me, we're not equal in mental either. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no equality nowhere. And there's nothing wrong with not being equal to each other, because there should be, like in a house, which is how we look at the body of Christ, or how we looked at Israelites. In a house, you got different body parts, or a body period. You got eyes, nose, ears, or whatever. So just because I can see, I may not be able to run. So I need somebody with legs to be able to run. That's what makes up a body. So we cannot be equal. There's no way we'd be equal.
What I really meant is, like, as far as dealing with equality, as far as like what you give out, you get back. So if I'm saying that I feel that polygamy deals with the lower nature of man, or dealing with your lower self. The reason why is because if I want another woman, I don't even have to know a woman. I could look, oh, it's my nature to like, yo, this woman, she looks good. I'm gonna look. Now, if that person comes into my contact in my cipher, then I might, now it's up to you. Now, what marriage does is it tests your faith, as far as what your bond is, what your word is, what you say that you're going to do with this woman. Now, polygamy can work on the aspect, I feel, if it's not sexually, if we're using this to come collective to build on economics, etc. But when dealing with equality, if the woman cannot marry a man, another man, I don't think that that's equality. So when we deal with the Bible and we deal with that, the Bible is against almost women, as far as women is down, almost against, as far as putting man completely on top. In African cultures, we have the Lady of Heaven. We have all of these different scriptures in your book, in Corinthians, where it speaks about the women cannot speak in church, etc., etc. But that's not the discussion. The point is our own African culture. If we talk about polygamy, we must look at how we looked at the woman. So I feel that if we could do it, she could do it too, because what's the real reason why we want another woman? If it is to build a nation, then that's peace. But if it's just to have another wife, why she can't have another man?
That's the most important reason why it is, to build
Well,
a nation.
thank you. One of the most important reasons.
If there was no sexual thing
Right.
involved with it, I would be, I'm sorry. If there was no sexual thing involved with me just having multiple wives, then I feel that that's right and exact. I don't.
But hold on, but brother, what about her sexual desires? You feel that you don't supposed to take care of her sexually?
Real fast. In African cultures, you can have more than one woman. And so some people said liquor, some people said the king, and then somebody came and said the woman, and broke down how the woman is the most strongest thing, because the woman can walk up to that king, take the crown off his head, even smack him upside the head, and he'll laugh because that's his woman. He loves his woman. Now, if you weak on your woman, like Adam was, for example, or like Solomon was, for example, you'll leave the truth and you'll start serving other gods. So when you say the Bible tears down the woman, it does not tear down the woman. If anything, it uplifts the woman. In Proverbs, the 31st chapter, in the 10th verse, it says, who can find a virtuous woman, because her price is above rubies. That's what it says in the Bible. So y'all use the word polygamous, we just say a sister wife, so to speak. So living a sister wife lifestyle is not wrong, whether he use it for procreation, whether he use it from a business standpoint, economic standpoint, whatever he choose, that's what he choose. In African cultures, like the brother mentioned, they have multiple wives. That is not a culture that's confined to just being an Israelite. Arabic cultures have more than one, like if you're in Islam or Arab, they have more than one wife. African cultures do allow women, I believe, to have more than one husband too, in some cultures. So you can't make it seem like what we're saying is different. To have a one man, one woman, that's a white man's only culture. When you do the history on that, in 18 BC is when the Romans came up with the culture of monogamy. Before that, you cannot find a consistent written down, documented article of monogamy existing in any other culture, whether it be Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, African, or Israel. The white man created that. So when you say one man, one woman, that's a white man's doctrine. That's not even your African doctrine.
I have a question. Where does it stop? Like, what limit do you have on your wives?
Well, Deuteronomy 17:17 says, don't multiply wives to yourself, that it take your heart away from the Most High. So you should, that's why I say we teach the men too, not to go out and just sleep with hundreds of women, because it just wouldn't be wise.
And the reason I ask you that is because whether you have 5 wives, 10 wives, you're always going to see women out there that you're attracted to, that are beautiful, that you might look at and say, well, you're going to say, oh, wow, she's beautiful. Right. I would like her to be one of my wives. Where does it end? Like,
no sweat. And as a man, that's why I say, as a man, like everybody up here has more than one woman, including Sarnetta. He just hides his, right? That's what he said. So, no, he don't care. So you do have your limitations. Like, again, I see women every day. It don't make me just want to go and be filled with lust and just do it. There's a discipline that comes with it. And we teach other men, like in our school, we teach men not to just run and lust after every woman that you see. You understand? You got to get to know that woman. If you was to come into our school specifically, I'm not talking about if I met a random sister, but if you was to come into our school specifically, we have a 1-year rule before you could even have sex with that woman. You understand? Because then what that does is, as you're getting to know that person for that year, for that 6 months to a year, you get to find out if y'all even compatible, if it can work. You understand? So now, the whole time that y'all talking, because y'all not having sex with each other, what does that do? If y'all decide not to deal with each other, there is no physical that was ever done. So you're free to go talk to another man if you choose to. The problem with black people, they have the sex first and then figure out the relationship second. You know what I mean? And that's what we try to teach against. You understand? So we try to teach against that.
Peace, Tazaryach. Can't complain. I had a question, but it starts off with a statement, because I agree with what you're saying in regards to polygamy. But I think that what it is the fact that, like, when it comes to like Western culture, the problem with Western culture is the fact that like we're dealing with women, particularly like indigenous women, black women, Israelite women, however you want to describe them. We're dealing with women who have dealt with like high amounts of transgenerational trauma, high amounts of like failed relationships, all types of stuff like that. And if you really think about it in regards to like, you know, for consciousness frequency, like there's always one man that a woman would go poly for. There's always one woman that a man would stay monogamous to. You understand what I'm saying? So my whole thing, what I'm figuring and what I'm suggesting is I think indigenous women or black women are naturally open to the idea of polygamy or polygyny. It just more or less revolves around their ability to be able to feel love. You know what I mean? Like, in regards to that, like, it's like to the fullest potentiality, to the fullest of its capacity. So I would say, like, do you think it's a good time for us to start introducing the idea of polygamy to a lot of damaged women who don't necessarily feel, you know what I mean? Because, like, you're dealing with, it's a difficult question, but I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like,
that's actually an easy question. He said, is it a difficult time to start teaching it now? How long are we going to wait before we start teaching it? When we've been living that forever. Right. Since we've been in America, black men and black women been having sex with each other, period. So shouldn't we put some guidelines? Shouldn't we it's like a manual. Like when we use the Bible is a blueprint or a manual for how we should instruct ourselves. The problem with black men and women today, the reason why, like you said, they destroyed mentally, physically, they've been abused and so forth like that, is because we've been living without the blueprint. We've been living without instruction. So now imagine them same people that's living that lifestyle. You put some borders around them. You put some guidelines around them. That man that once wanted to sleep with a lot of women may not even want to sleep with one after he gets them borders around and understand what he's supposed to do for that woman. Because maybe he'll realize I'm not built for that. So it's better if I don't. You understand? Because the Bible actually says it's better not to marry. That's what the Bible says. You understand? So imagine if them blueprints come around. Then you may have another brother, once he gets the understanding, he say, okay, now I could take on more than one woman because I didn't think I could do it before, but now that I have the blueprint, I could do it. For the sisters that are destroyed, they need to be counseled. They need to be taught. Right. That's my point. It's not like you say, I'm going to slap the woman and say, come here and come over here. That's not what we're saying, but that's how it feels because that's what they're used to hearing. Because all you hear on the radio is how I'm sleeping with all these women and women sleeping with all these men. Now, what we're trying to say is stop that. Let's put an order among that. Let's give the women instruction. Let's give the men instruction so that if they do have a relationship and then that relationship involves polygamy, since that's the word that a lot of people like to use, if it involves polygamy, there's a better understanding to it. That's why the title is How to Share Your Man, because women don't know how. Women believe that they sharing their man by arguing with them all day about a woman. You know how many brothers that's in a monogamous relationship that get accused of being with more than one woman? If a brother don't come home, if a brother normally goes to work from 10 to 6, and on this day he come home at 8, he done fucked another woman. And he's battling to not be, he's battling to not deal with another woman, but's going through the chaos because that woman has never been taught to just share her man, whether he has another man. That's why. Okay.
So, so what you're saying is that that what it sounds like to me, it sounds like what you're saying is that the cure to it all is to tell a damaged woman that, you know, it may just be easier if she just be open to the idea of sharing her man. No. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm first saying to the damaged woman is that she need to learn how to love herself first. You understand? A damaged woman is obviously broke. Just like brothers. A damaged brother need to learn how to love himself too. That's why you notice every time I talk, I'm not just giving it from the woman's side. I'm giving it from the man's side too, so that the people that's listening, when they come to the lecture, they don't think it's just a chauvinistic perspective. Because that's how it looked at when they say it, when they hear that a man wants more than one woman, they immediately think he's thinking with his rod and he's chauvinistic. So I'm trying to give both perspective. I'm not saying that a woman has to have a man that deals with more than one woman, because every man does not desire more than one woman. But the reason why we're teaching this subject is because right now in America, we're forced to only have what? One woman. So why do we have to be forced? And that's why you have brothers that go to that strip club, because they may have a desire to be with a woman, but because they can't, they sneaking off to the strip club, or they sneaking off to the whorehouse, or wherever they at in New York City, because they can hide sex with that prostitute and then come home, and then what ends up happening? That woman get AIDS, or he get AIDS, or get some disease, or get some other type of disease or something like that. Now, what I'm saying is, imagine if we just put a blueprint around there, which is what the Bible provides for us. Imagine if we put guidelines, we give instructions to both. You know what I mean? As far as relationships, period. Black people don't just have polygamous problems. We have relationships problems, period. You understand? Because like I said earlier, we'll have the sex first. Like we see a woman and she fine, and you start looking at her curves, and she looking at your chest and looking at everything, and y'all good to go. Y'all go right to the hotel and have sex. Then you're like, okay, let's have a relationship together because the sex was so good. But just because the sex was good don't mean that you're compatible. And then you end up fighting and arguing, and don't let her get pregnant, and you didn't plan on her. Where you got to know that woman first, where you got to know that man first before you had the sex, the lifestyle would be better. Yeah, no sweat.
So I'm definitely agreeing with like specific points in regards to being able to provide those parameters and that system of that system of law that would allow us to be able to engage in a polygamous relationship safely. Right. But what I was thinking is that, like, based off of the fact of like knowing like the blueprint of women, how like intuitive and how emotional they are, and how every woman wants to feel as if she's the only woman in the world that matters. No matter what happens, you're dealing with whatever woman you're dealing with, she always wants to feel like she's the only woman that matters. So the whole thing is like based off of the fact, like I was proposing from before, in regards to dealing with women who have been hurt, damaged.
But now you see what you just said, how she knows, she just don't want to face it. No. I ain't about to say nothing bad. I'm about to tell you something. She knows she just ain't arguing with you about it. Every woman should be like that. You ain't got to get along with the other. You ain't got. One second. And he ain't. Okay, now why does the woman. 1 second, sis. But why does the woman got to come there? He been with that woman for 15. He got a 15-year. No, I'm just saying you got a 15-year-old son. But hear what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, why does the woman gotta come around? This ain't no kumbaya. You ain't gotta have them sitting lined up like Kiki and Tata gonna talk to each other, something like that. It don't have to be like that. All they have to do is just not complain. You understand? So again, this lecture is about a woman being able to share her man. His wife shares him. She don't argue with him about it or do anything. And now, I bet she don't feel any less love from Side Nutter. My wives, all of them, don't feel any less love from me, even though I got more than one woman. That's the misconception. That's like the rumor, like Santa Claus coming down the damn chimney is a lie. It's a lie to think that a man can't love more than one woman and let them feel that love from them. I know it because I do it.
See, she know I have another one. She just don't want me to bring them together where they clash together.
You don't have to.
Exactly.
You don't have to do that.
You see what I'm saying? Look at her. Yeah, come on, man. No, but see, sister, you are selfish, sister, because that's the way it was always.
What y'all are doing, y'all calling the women wives and all of that, so it sounds better. That's my wife. You're doing the same thing as the typical man that's not in your faith or in Israelite that's out there. Wait a minute, that have women, other baby mamas. Only thing is they may not label them their wives, but that's the same thing.
Now that's what I was saying before. What I was saying okay, no sweat. What I was saying before is that term bastard. Like that term, in the hood, they call them bastard. What the Romans would call them is an illegitimate child. And your illegitimate child or bastard would be a child by anybody that's not by what America would call your wife. So now that child got to grow up thinking that he's some type of step or disabled type of child on the subject. You understand what I'm saying? When it's not supposed to be like that. If you have a child by another woman, that child has the same right as the first child that you have. You understand? Okay, no sweat. Okay, no sweat.
That's her husband right there. Ask her the question.
Okay, do I have permission to ask her the question? No sweat. Okay, I'm doing a lecture October 4th, and the subject matter is, have you, the title, I'll give you the title in a second, but the question that I would ask is, have you ever been in a situation where you had to share your man with another woman?
I think we all are in situations like that, whether we know it or not. So
Now,
it's hard to answer.
Okay, no sweat. Now, if you were in that situation, do you find it easy to do or hard to do?
Hard to do.
But you still stay with the man?
Well, we wouldn't want them to know that we would stay with them, but it depends on how deep the relationship is. Yeah.
Now, do you believe that if your husband does that make it seem like he don't love you, like he loves you less, or do you think the love can be the same?
Honestly, I don't think that it would have anything to do with how much he loved me, because I know his influences out there in the world, and he's human. But it's hard to say that because I don't want him to listen to that and think that, it's okay. And I'm going to straighten that out. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. She answering it right because she like, I don't want him to get no ideas or nothing like that. But that's good. I'm glad that you said that, because what you're saying is that you don't believe that just because it gets another woman that he loves you any less, that he loves you the same. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you, sis. You said that, now a second ago, you said that a man can't love all of those women. That's what you just...
You don't think a man can love two women at the same time?
I'm not going to even say that is the case. But it's not about so much love. It's about, because you think that people want to hear, the women want to hear all the time, it's about love. No, it's about respect. It's about other things, aspects of it. That's respect to you? Well, see, that's why I said men differ from women, and we're always going to have that battle. Most of the black women that y'all see and ask that question to are not going to stand there and tell you they're going to accept that. Be it because of the way we were brought up in this society or whatever. It's just not.
Well, I've been to Bronx. We're going to the Queens after we leave here. I've been to Harlem, and we've asked sisters this question. And
I have been married for over 20 years to the same man. Have I ever looked at any other man or felt attractive? No. I'm a woman. I see attractive men all the time. But my loyalty lies with my husband. Looking at and saying that brother looks good, or in my mind he's a handsome man, does not mean that I'm going to lay with that man. Okay, so we're human. And I know he looks at beautiful women all the time. So, and I'm not going to expect him not to. I would be crazy to think my husband's not going to be attracted to other women. There's beautiful women out here. But as long as he comes home, he's committed to me, and I'm the one who he's with every night. That's where I'm talking about.
But if he was to get another woman, you shouldn't feel any less of a wife to him. If he was to get another one, he would still love you the same.
I'm sure.
You understand? It wouldn't change, and that's all we're trying to teach. And like you said, it's not an easy job. I don't want to make it seem like, right. I don't want to make it seem like I think it's an easy job. the water, because it's not an easy job. So I don't want to make it seem like women should just fall in line. Oh yeah, I want to do that. No, because it's not easy. But it ain't something that can't be taught. It ain't something that they can't do. I've seen it because I witnessed it myself. All right. You want to say something, Tazaryach?
I want you to know how right it is what this brother's teaching, and how important it is that this event's coming, because I slept with more women before I came into this knowledge. You understand that? And it was never an issue when I dealt with these sisters and threw her away. It was, you know what I'm saying? Even my own mother would laugh. I get a phone call and I might have a girl out to dinner with us. We all have a family. And my mother's laughing like, who's that one, Tuesday? And then I see a woman walking, I'm like, well, there goes my Wednesday. And they laugh and they celebrate it. It wasn't until I came into this knowledge and I said, I'm not gonna touch a woman unless I want to spend the rest of my life with her. And it didn't become an issue when I was sleeping with these women and throwing them away, but it became an issue when I wanted to call these two women my wife and say, I will never throw either one of these sisters away. I will stay with them, I will build with both of them. And that's the problem, and that's why, a part of the reason why we're so destroyed. Whereas I was more lustful when I was in the world, because now I won't touch a woman unless I plan on spending the rest of my life with her and building with her and dealing with those issues and helping her get over those hurdles that the society gave her because of how destroyed that we are.
So I thank you. Sis, you want to answer the question? No? No sweat. And I thank you. And again, if you check our website out, you'll see. And have your husband check it out too. Don't let your husband, no sweat, let your husband check it out too. Don't be afraid. All right, sis. God bless you too, sis. What's up, man? No sweat. Sonetta. We're going to head up to Queens in a second. Oh, you had a question. I'm sorry, bro.
You said something about us being a damaged people or women being damaged. And based on my own limited understanding of things, after 400 years of unedited, uninterrupted control by white people, I feel like we're coming out of that with a consciousness created by white people. And so we all damaged trying to recover. And so when you talk about introducing polygamy, I understand that. But it's almost like saying, you're dealing with a bunch of people that can't add and subtract, but I'm gonna help solve the problem by introducing you to calculus. And we didn't even get over this addition and subtraction. The addition and subtraction would include understanding first what a man is, understanding what a woman is, understanding what a father is, understanding what a mother is, understanding what a family is. It's like once that gets dealt with from outside of the colonial construct or that 400 years of damage, I can see introducing this calculus or this polygamy thing. I wanted to say that, and then I had a question for you.
But here's the problem.
He had a good question.
No, he didn't. No, I'm going to get his question. I'm just dealing with his statement first. Here's the problem. That adding, subtraction that we're trying to do, that is us bringing polygamists into it, or bringing an order to it, so to speak, is addressing the adding and subtraction that we're doing. Because you have a society of black people, men and women, that are just doing whatever it is they want, including who they have sex with. And all we're trying to do is introduce structure to it. So us bringing up polygamy into the us bringing polygamy into the equation is not bringing calculus, it's just addressing something that's already there. You already have men sleeping with more than one woman. They just don't call it polygamy. They call it the side chick, or they call it the whore, or they call it the stripper, or they call it something like that. What we're trying to get those brothers to say is, that's not a whore, that's not a stripper. If you sleep with that woman, be prepared, because if I sleep with this whore, I gotta keep her. Who wants to marry a whore? That's gonna make me never sleep with the whore. It's gonna make me look for something that's better than that. It's gonna make a sister not sleep with the male stripper or sleep with the male escort service, because that's the last person, the last man I'm gonna lay with is a stripper, is a male escort service. It's gonna make her look for the best man that she can find. So when you say we're trying to bring calculus, we're not. We're just trying to bring structure and order. Now, when you say, is the Bible the only, just say it one more time.
did we not know how to live before the Bible came along? Was it we didn't know how to live or how to interact to deal with each other until the Bible came along?
No sweat. That's an excellent question. Now, you know, for us, we teach that we're Israelites. So for Israelites, our law, statutes, and commandments, or the guidelines for us, is the Bible. And we look at it not just when Moses delivered it. We look at it as a time from Adam up until now. That's our culture. So when you say, did we not know how to live before the law, statute, commandments came? I would say no, we did not know how to live. Now, for someone that may call himself an African or Arab or something that may have existed before Israelites, I guess they would have their culture that would guideline them. So like someone that's an actual Egyptian or an actual Ethiopian or an actual South African, so to speak, then they would have the guidelines that would guideline them. And if you ask them, did they know how to live before those guidelines? If they were living according to those guidelines, they would have to say no too. Because the guidelines is what's the boundaries that's set forth for us. Because if you let us live however we want to live, you see it all day. Our women kill their babies, they don't care. Our brothers shoot each other, they don't care, because we're living how we want to live without guidelines. Now, when you add the guidelines of the Bible say if you kill your child, that's murder. The Bible say if you shoot your brother, that's not brotherhood, that's murder. The Bible say if you sell drugs, you're a witch. That's what the Bible say. So yes, we do need guidelines, and we don't know how to live without the Bible, and that's why I expanded it to the Africans. The Africans have their culture. They don't know how to live without their culture. I'm pretty sure Ethiopians have their set of laws that they're supposed to follow, and when they don't follow it, they're a lawless society. So who would I be to say, take the Ethiopians' law away from it? So it's the same thing for us. So no, we don't know how to live without the Bible.
But we were here long before speech and books. Humans were here before speech and books. Before speech and books.
The reason why I mentioned Adam, because Moses brought down a written law. But before that, Adam taught his children the law of sacrifice and the law period, and that was handed down generation to generation. And then once Moses came, then he delivered it written down. I'm sorry. Then he delivered it like from a written down perspective. You understand what I'm saying? Now you're saying before anything was written down. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you with that. But our teaching teaches us that Adam, when he received the truth, and I don't want you to think that I think Adam was the first man on the planet, because I don't. There was a bunch of people on the planet when Adam was born. There was already people living, so I don't believe that. So when I'm saying Adam was given the truth from the Most High, that's when he started getting guidelines as well. Without guidelines, without instruction, we can know how to talk, we can know how to walk, we can know how to do everything. But if we don't have no laws guiding us, we'll be destroyed. All right, sis. Can I ask you a question, sis? We're doing a lecture on women. And the question that I want to ask you is, are you now, or have you ever been in a position where you had to share your man with another woman?
No, never.
Okay. If you ever was in that position, would it be hard for you to do or easy?
I would never put myself in that position.
Well, let's say if the man that you was with now, not saying you are, but let's say if the man that you was with now, you're the man. Do I have permission to talk to her? My bad. I can talk to her? Okay, no, so I didn't want to disrespect you. That's why I said it. So now, let's say if the brother says he has another woman, would you leave him?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I'm not crazy and I'm not sharing my man with anybody. That's crazy.
So you believe that he couldn't be with you and be with another woman and you still feel loved?
I mean, I probably could feel loved, but I would never do that. I can't share him. I have to have him by myself. That's it.
So do you think the battle is women got to learn how to not be selfish and just share their man?
I don't think it's about being selfish. I just think it's about having enough self-love to know that you don't deserve that.
You said self-love. That's selfish. No, that's all right. That's all. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. All right.
Now, so back up to sorry. So let me.
I know. So I'll take like two more.
All right. So see, brother, this is what I'm trying to tell you. I think it's the way you asking the question. Will you share your man?
Your brother and his sister. Your brother and his wife.
Yes.
She rolled with it.
So now let me ask you.
Wait, hold up.
Oh, come on over here, sister.
I know, it's okay.
Come on over here, sister.
I just want to ask you a quick question, right? We're doing a lecture on women on October 4th. The question that I have is, are you now, or have you ever been in a position where you had to share your man with another woman?
Yes.
Was it difficult for you to do?
Actually, it's a choice I made. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sis. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now you were saying? No, that's fine. That's all I want. Okay. What you want to know? Why she made the choice? Okay. They want to know why you made the choice, sis.
Yeah, that goes deep, right? So, you get tricked in, the love story. So, yeah, you're trying it, it won't work, but still need for love, attention.
Now, how's the relationship with him? Is it fine or is it?
Well, I broke it off a long time ago. Yeah.
You broke it?
Because of that. Yeah.
You wasn't able to deal with it?
Sorry?
Was it because you wasn't able to deal with it, or what was the reason?
I don't want to be the side woman or the, I don't want to.
Women think they the side women.
So is that now? So
He still had love for you.
Yes, he might. I know he loves me, but I need a full commitment from a man. Like I'm giving my full commitment to him.
okay, so let me ask you: when you say side woman, is it because you was treated like being on the side or something like that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, as opposed to what?
Like coming home every night, eating, sleeping, doing fun stuff together. So.
Okay, so if he doesn't come home to you every night, that makes you feel like the side?
Like you said?
If he doesn't come home to you every night, does it make you feel like you're on the side?
Yes, and yeah, that's true. He has his family, so I was the main person, and.
All right, thank you, sis. I appreciate it. All right.
So what are you gonna do with it?
Well, you gotta ask him.
For educational purposes.
Yeah, that's all. How old are they though? But how old are y'all? How old are you? Oh, okay. I'm gonna ask y'all a question, right? I almost don't want to ask them because they too young. Yeah, I don't want to ask y'all that question because y'all too young. Okay, all right. But I don't want to ask them though. You gonna have GMS making videos about me asking these teams. I'm not about to ask these. Y'all too young for me to ask that question.
Thank you for anything. Yeah, that's why I didn't put the camera on him.
Listen, they accusing me of dating high school women now.
All right, my brother Captain Tazaryach, powerful. I know this is going to be powerful that you got coming up. Can you let the family know what day this is going to be on again, and why do you think that this is important today?
Okay, no sweat.
Let them know where this is going.
The lecture is going to be October 4th. At the Nicholas Bookstore, 570 Fulton Street in Brooklyn, New York. It'll be on Sunday at 7 p.m., so it's about 2 weeks from now it'll be. And the reason why we think this subject is important is because you have sisters that have shot each other. They had a story out in Atlanta where the brother was dealing with 2 women. And one of the women, not only did she shoot the other woman, but then she shot herself. All because they just don't know how to share their man. And again, this ain't something that we're teaching where a man has to have more than one woman. It just shouldn't be forced upon him that he can only have one. And it shouldn't be forced upon women to believe that their man ain't shit if he has another woman. So that's the importance of this subject. I don't mind sisters' input at the lecture. You know what I mean? I want the sisters to come out there. I have a couple sisters that may come out there, and you can express your opinion. It's not something where we're going to go out there and be chauvinistic with it. It'll be an educational experience.
Do you think this is more important? Do you think?
Okay. If anybody want to sell their, do some vending out there, you could bring your items out there and sell the merchandise as well. Just get in touch with me. My telephone number is 646-481-6315. You can give me a call and we could work out whatever vending you want to do.
Last question, brother. Do you think that this information that you're bringing forth is more important for women than the man, and particularly, I know you're going to say both of them, but more so the woman. Who do you think this is more for?
Okay. I think it's more so for the women because women are really more selfish than men. And when I'm saying selfish, I don't mean just selfish with having to share a man. I'm talking about selfish with everything. Like women battle other women. Like you couldn't put 20 different women in the room and then they all get along. Somebody's going to have a problem with somebody. So I do think it's more important for the women's side than the man's side. And what I find is that women agree with what I say. I was just on the phone with 2 sisters yesterday that agreed that women got to stop being selfish, jealous of other women, because that's usually what it comes. Like that competitive nature that's been instilled in this society, women take that to the full tilt. So I think it's more beneficial for the women than the men.
So Red Pill, why do you think you only have one woman, or you don't believe in the polygyny aspect? Why do you feel that a man should just have one wife?
You're asking me, like, did I tell you that? You're asking
Do you?
That's what I said to you.
Do you feel that a man should have more than one wife?
I feel that a man, right, who is able to do what it is that he wants. I'm answering the question that you asked. A very simple question. I'm giving you a very simple answer to that. What I'm saying is, if a man has the ability to take on more than one wife, and he understands the ramifications that come with that, he should be able to do that. Excuse me? I'm working on my initial first. I'm getting foundation right, and then me and her will be able to deal with multiple, but she is open to that option. I want to know from you if somebody is for same-sex marriage, because it appears inside of our race that a lot of our people are for that now. So it appears inside of the race, quote unquote black race, a lot of people are for that now, same sex, from what it appears. So what I'm saying is, if they're pro same-sex marriage, because all of a sudden everybody with the rainbow flags, like that shit was always in them. So if they're with same sex, like, oh no, it's just love. Let man and man be together. Let those two women, even if they're 80 years old, get married. Would it be hypocritical to say that they would have anything to say against polygamy or if they're living in a world, in a society where if they're religious, that shit said that's every religion said that's not what we about. But now they're living in a society where it's openly embraced and they're cool with it. So if that's the case, would they be hypocritical to even talk against polygamy in this world?
Red Pill, I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I didn't even bring that up all day. It is the most hypocritical thing you could say, where in a society you could let man on man be with each other, woman on woman be with each other, but if I want two women, I got to be looked at like I'm wicked, when that's an abomination in a society that says in God we trust. In a society that says we believe in God, we believe in Christ, we believe in all this other old nonsense, but they will allow two men to be together. But if I want to legally, now I don't agree with the legal marriage system, but if I want to legally marry two women, I can't. But if two men want to legally get married, they can do that, and that's looked at like the norm. That's another reason why we have to teach this topic, because of the ass backwardness that goes on to this place. You understand? And even the scriptures speak of that, how the turning of things upside down would be esteemed as if the Most High ordained men being with men. But a man having two men, that's frowned upon. I got to get in battles on that. But gay marriage, they can get that all day. So that's another reason why this is an important topic.
Let me ask your African brother. Hey, my brother, how you doing, man? What part of Africa are you from, man?
I come from Uganda.
He comes from...
And I'm only 2 weeks old in New York.
Okay, he's from Uganda. Now, according to the African customs and systems, you are allowed to have more than one wife, am I right?
You're really right. That's perfect.
How many wives you got?
That was the tradition.
How many wives you have?
I got one.
But you can have more than one?
Yeah, that was the tradition. But now it's changing, you know.
Who's changing it? Is it the white man that's changing it?
Changing it by itself. The cost of living is growing high, and then how do you manage two relationships together?
So, hold on. You mean to tell me, on the continent, right? On the continent, this is the custom for all of my, pro-African people and all of my anti-African people out there. This is the custom on the continent, right, brother?
Yeah, you're right. And now as I speak, to have two women at the same time is not something bad.
Not something bad.
But it's not something very desirable.
So this would be our ancient tradition, right?
Exactly.
Interesting. Before like religions and everything, we had multiple wives around us, right?
True. That's true.
That we would be considered real Africans if we had that, right?
The more wives you got, the more children you have, that makes you more of a man in the tradition.
Okay.
He was born here in America. Is he American, or do you consider him your African brother, or is he American?
I think if he was born here, I think he still remains an African born in America.
Yes.
Thank you, brother.
So is that your African brother?
That's correct.
Give me a 5, my man. All right, that's what's up. So I'm glad that you were able to clarify that polygamy was an African custom. And for all of my convenient Africans in the audience that are out there, you know, that are Europeanized about the concept of polygamy or polygyny, I'm glad that you brought that clarity. Thank you, brother. All right, no doubt.
Close out, my brother.
No sweat. I did the closeout for the lecture, which again is October 4th. But what I also want to say is Sanetta did something and he allowed me to get this platform. We had a sister pass away this past Saturday, and we're actually doing a burial service for her Monday. Now, what I did at the request of actually people online, because they wanted to know how they could support her. And so what I did was I created a GoFundMe page that's strictly for the sister. The sister had 4 children and a husband that she leaves behind. So anybody want to donate, you can go right to my page and check my GoFundMe app and then give a donation to the sister. All the proceeds will go to that family. I appreciate it. So I donated. That's what made me think about it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Though y'all might see us bang on each other with the information, when somebody passes in our family, we still brothers regardless at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So y'all will see the GoFundMe link at the end of this video. Like, it'll be on the video in case you're trying to find out how to support our brother. So come on out and support our family, because we are a family at the end of the day. We still bang on the information. I'm going to still get at you at the end of the day, because this is how we build. This is how we build. You know what I'm saying? But yes, family, I encourage our people to support our brother. You know, he have lost somebody in their organization. And the link will be on this video. So if you're looking on how to go to the GoFundMe page, just look at the video and you'll see it right there, my brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate Sanetta for donating. I appreciate it. And that was pretty much it. That's all I had. I didn't know if you wanted to ask me anything else.
Thank you, my